And I caution men, if they get this thrown at them, not to overreact. If your children come home to you because you got custody, but they go and see mom on the weekend or over a holiday, and when they come back home, Dad, they say to you, "Guess what, Dad? Guess what? We just met mom's friend.
Mom's, yeah.
and Dad, guess what? Guess what, Dad? We decided we got two dads."
Yeah.
And when you talking about some heat coming back at me,
Yep.
you know, what you talking about, Mr. White? My kids ain't got no. I say, what? Listen to what your kids saying, man. What your kids say? They say, Dad, guess what? Guess what? We just met Billy. He's really, really nice. And he's got a son and a daughter too. And we play together.
Yep.
And we decided we got two dads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's your problems with that, man? No, hell no, Mr. No.
What do they say about what do they say about when they have a woman that they want their kid to call mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing goes, right.
When in that instance we had that conversation, have you ever taken it from the other part and say, hey, do you want to start dating again? Well, imagine you find a woman in your dreams that takes care of the kid and helps you take care of the kid and you get some extra time.
Yeah.
What would happen if that child would start calling her mom?
Right. That's
you
right.
know? Because that's the thing is like men don't see. I've got fathers that I represent right now that are talking to me about that. Like, man, behind closed doors, man, at my house, man, the kid's calling so-and-so mom.
Yeah.
And so it's so interesting that that it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. And
so how do you deal with your side?
I would tell men, I say, man, just calm down. Let me tell you what you got here. Your kids, because I'm speaking from my CPS area now, of the number of children that I know have suffered all kinds of child protection service stuff, right?
For most people that listen, CPS is a 4-letter word. You know that.
Right? But I'm talking about the stuff that we see or have seen, some of the harm that can happen to children physically and emotionally. If your children come home and say that to you, Dad,
right,
you should make a beeline to that brother
and meet
him, shake his hand and say, hey, man, appreciate the kind of person you are.
Right. My son loves you. He sounds like he's having a real good time.
Really do care for you, man. Thank you so much, man.
How can we collaborate with this? Because I can't do it alone.
That's right. And then what's happening there, Charlie, which a lot of men don't do, that's affirmation. These two brothers are sharing something that's good between themselves. They lifting each other up.
Do a little bit. Women don't do a great job of it.
Yeah.
I have seen women do what I would call a better job than men do. Not all women. I would tell you there's a couple women that you don't even come at them with that heat, right?
Right.
But there are some women that actually, you know, I think for men, the wound though is that generally men feel so cut out of the children's lives. You know, our domestic courts still kind of operate from the 1950s concept. And we as men, this is another issue going back to the men. And I've got a huge issue that men want to be called the provider. You know, I'm a provider. I provide. I'm a provider. What the fuck does that mean? What do you provide? Well, I mean, I provide. I mean, I go out and work and I do all this other stuff, and they don't and I don't want to. Not all men. I would just say, if I was going to talk about the stereotype that women are complaining about, because I represent everybody, you know, I don't care if you're the mother, the father, the wife, the husband. And the big issue that I'm seeing is just that men only know how to call themselves a provider or have an identity as being a provider. And then they get upset that that's all the court makes them whenever the relationship, you know, breaks down. And so then that's where I think men generally feel cut out of the kid's life, which is why, and I'm sure you can agree with this, which is why hearing that the child now calls someone else dad is like, it's the double wound.